It was a busy afternoon at LAX, and the terminal hummed with the usual chaos of rolling luggage, gate announcements, and impatient travelers. Among them was Malik Jefferson, a sharply dressed black man carrying nothing more than a briefcase and the quiet confidence of someone who had seen more airports than most pilots see planes. Today, he wasn't just a traveler. He was an FAA inspector, traveling undercover to evaluate airline security protocols. As Malik approached Gate 24, a young gate agent with a suspicious scowl suddenly waved him over. "Sir, your passport is invalid. You cannot board this flight." Malik raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me? This passport is valid, federally issued and fully current. Please check again." The agent, however, ignored his calm and authoritative tone. In a shocking move that stunned nearby passengers, she snatched the passport from his hands and tore it in half, muttering about security violations. Time seemed to freeze. Malik, trained to stay composed under extreme circumstances, felt a surge of disbelief. Yet he didn't panic. He could sense subtle inconsistencies in her behavior. The way she hesitated when reaching for the tear, the slight glance at a supervisor who looked uncomfortable, and the unusual pause in the boarding line. Malik quickly realized that the agent's actions didn't align with standard FAA or airline protocols. She was overstepping, and the procedure didn't match the rule book he had memorized from years of inspections. Something felt deliberate. Nearby passengers whispered, some pulling out phones. One man muttered, "Did she just tear that passport?" Another woman looked concerned, shaking her head in disbelief. The entire terminal seemed to hold its breath, caught between horror and curiosity. Malik's tone shifted to calm authority, a measured intensity that left no room for argument. "Step back and retrieve my passport," he said evenly. "You have no jurisdiction to act like this. I am an FAA inspector, and this behavior is a direct violation of protocol. I suggest you correct it immediately." The gate agent froze. Her hand hovered uncertainly, unsure whether she had crossed an irreversible line. Nearby passengers glanced nervously between Malik and the agent, sensing the tension escalate. Malik stood near Gate 24, keeping his composure despite the adrenaline surging through his veins. The passengers whispered, some openly staring, sensing the unfolding drama. Every second counted. This wasn't just a misstep by a gate agent. It felt orchestrated. He dialed his internal FAA line, connecting instantly to the operations supervisor. "This is Malik Jefferson, undercover inspector. Gate agent tore my passport. I need immediate confirmation of protocol adherence and a sweep of this terminal." Within minutes, he began noticing alarming inconsistencies. Surveillance cameras pointed oddly, security personnel avoided eye contact, and there were irregular check-ins by staff who should have been elsewhere. Someone knew he was coming, and someone wanted him humiliated in public. Malik reviewed the boarding line from a discreet distance. The gate agent wasn't acting alone. Subtle signals, glances, hand gestures, the position of the boarding passes indicated coordination. Passengers sensed something off too, murmuring to each other. One man whispered, "This isn't just a mistake, she's targeting him." Malik's mind raced. This was no ordinary incident. It was a test. Someone was watching, calculating, and manipulating the situation to provoke a reaction. Using his FAA credentials discreetly, Malik accessed the airline's internal system from his encrypted mobile terminal. He discovered multiple unauthorized entries, login attempt to manipulate passenger manifests, tampered security logs, and even an attempt to delete surveillance footage of the gate incident. The implication was terrifying. The agent's behavior was just the tip of an iceberg. Someone high up wanted him publicly embarrassed, and perhaps worse, removed from the flight under false pretenses to compromise his undercover inspection. Malik's heart raced as he carefully moved through the terminal, every step calculated, every glance measured. The mysterious supervisor who had invoked Protocol 3 was now coordinating quietly with other staff. Malik knew that any misstep could compromise his cover, or worse. He ducked into a quiet service corridor, pulling out his encrypted FAA device. The tampered surveillance footage and unauthorized logins indicated a coordinated internal operation, not just a rogue gate agent. Someone wanted him humiliated and neutralized before he could complete his inspection. Through rapid cross-referencing of employee schedules, security feeds, and digital footprints, Malik traced the incident to a single figure, Derek Vaughn, the airline's chief of operations. Vaughn had a reputation for ambition, secrecy, and ruthless efficiency. But Malik had underestimated just how far Vaughn would go to protect hidden corporate failings from FAA scrutiny. The shocking realization hit Malik. The gate agent tearing his passport was just a distraction. Vaughn had orchestrated the entire scenario, manipulating staff, falsifying logs, and attempting to compromise his inspection. Malik knew he couldn't confront Vaughn openly. Instead, he set a trap of his own. Using secure FAA channel, he initiated a real-time audit of the airline's operations, triggering alerts that would expose every instance of tampering, sabotage, and deception. He then returned to the terminal, this time calmly addressing the gate agent. Your actions have been recorded, verified, and reported. Every attempt to falsify logs or manipulate me will be documented and reviewed at the highest level. The agent's confident posture faltered. Malik could see fear flicker in her eyes. The realization that she had been outmaneuvered was evident. Malik's pulse was steady, but his mind raced. Every second mattered. Vaughn's countermeasure, Delta, wasn't just a procedural threat. It was a coordinated attempt to neutralize him physically and digitally, using both rogue security staff and manipulated surveillance systems. He ducked into a secure FAA operations hub, bypassing compromised terminals and activating a secure audit protocol. Every unauthorized login, every falsified record, and every attempt to manipulate the inspection would now be traced, time-stamped, and documented in real time. Malik contacted his FAA supervisor under encrypted communication, explaining the scenario in precise detail. Together, they initiated an internal lockdown on Vaughn's terminal, isolating him from the network. Simultaneously, Malik used covert cameras to document the gate agent and other staff acting under Vaughn's instructions. Minutes later, Vaughn realized he was being outmaneuvered. His confident, smug demeanor faltered as Malik's countermeasures began exposing his orchestration of sabotage, manipulation, and intimidation. Every move Vaughn made was now visible to FAA investigators and the airline board simultaneously. Just when Malik thought he had secured victory, a new threat emerged. Vaughn had enlisted a private corporate security team trained to physically remove him from the terminal if necessary. Malik's calm exterior masked a surge of adrenaline. He knew that confrontation could escalate to violence within moments. Thinking quickly, Malik triggered an emergency FAA alert that summoned local law enforcement and internal FAA security to the terminal. The agents arrived just in time to intercept Vaughn's team, containing them before they could reach Malik. The terminal was tense. Every camera, every security officer, and every digital alert of potential danger. Malik moved with precision, coordinating with FAA investigators, law enforcement, and his internal team. Every step of the operation was calculated, designed to expose not only the gate agent and Vaughn, but the larger network that had tried to humiliate him and obstruct his inspection. A voice came over Malik's encrypted line. "Jefferson, we have full access to Vaughn's network. All files, communications, and covert operations are now being recorded. Proceed carefully." Malik's pulse remained calm, but his mind was racing. Every move he made now could trigger retaliation, sabotage, or worse. Malik initiated a live internal review with the airline board, streaming evidence directly from compromised terminals and surveillance logs. Vaughn and the gate agent were unable to hide any actions. They had been documented in real time. The network of rogue staff, protocols, and tampering were revealed in shocking detail. Vaughn attempted to intervene, but Malik's strategic placement of FAA oversight and law enforcement ensured he had no control. The humiliation that had been aimed at Malik was now reversed. His calm, calculated intelligence had turned the tables. Just as the board and FAA officials absorbed the full scope of the sabotage, Malik's device flashed a new encrypted message. "You have exposed Vaughn and his immediate team, but the observers beyond him, the true orchestrators, are still monitoring." This was a test, and they are waiting for the next move. Malik's eyes narrowed. This wasn't over. The gate agent, Vaughn, and their immediate collaborators had been neutralized, but someone higher up, the hidden power behind the sabotage, remained. Their intentions were unknown, their reach potentially limitless. Malik reflected on the ordeal. Humiliation and intimidation are temporary. Strategic intelligence, patience, and calculated action turn threats into leverage. Authority and respect are earned through composure, foresight, and decisive action under extreme pressure. One can turn even orchestrated attacks into victory when the mind is clear and the strategy precise. As Malik walked through the now-quiet terminal, surrounded by FAA officials and airline executives, he knew the immediate danger was over, but the encrypted message haunted him. The larger network, the unseen orchestrators, was still out there watching and perhaps waiting for a more vulnerable moment. Malik's expression hardened. He had survived, exposed corruption, and turned humiliation into triumph, but the unseen game had only begun. And next time, the stakes would be even higher. Subscribe for more interesting and powerful stories.